Hello guys, my name is Tejas Sudhakar K and we are back with another video. So in today's video, we are discussing on how to score 60 plus in your company law. See, company law is that one subject and one law based on which almost your whole course is structured around your company law. And if you see the new exam pattern that has been coming up in the past few years, you can observe one pattern that ICSI has not been kind on students, especially on company law subject, because you're expected to be professionals and expert in the company law subject, right? Of course, right? So how are the questions that have been coming in the recent days? So the questions are no longer direct questions, it's case study questions. So just remembering the provision is not at all enough. Okay, you have to understand the provision and you should be able to apply these provisions in the case studies that they give, and that's how you can score well in your exams. That's just one of the part, but is this the only way you can score 60 plus? No. But is it the most important and non-negotiable? Yes. Understanding to an extent that you are able to apply these provisions is a non-negotiable for your preparation. But then, will this alone assure you if you will be scoring 60 plus? Probably not, right? So we need to have a balance of both of these, but at the same time, what we need to understand is on which chapters do we actually need to focus, and how do we study, and how many revisions do we need before we go for the exam, so that we can end up scoring well. Okay, so now, as I said, it is understanding and application. Okay, that applies for all the chapters, irrespective of whether it is important or not, whether it carries heavy marks, heavy weightage or not. Irrespective of that, you have to make sure that you are focusing on all these important chapters, as well as you cannot leave any single chapter. So before we go any ahead in this video, first let's get one thing straight. This video is not for you to have shortcuts in your exam preparation. No, absolutely not. If that's what you're expecting in this video, you can leave this video and you can continue the studies however you want. But if you want to genuinely score well, okay, where you need to put efforts, but in the right direction, at the right places, without losing too much of energy, that's what this video is going to be about. And remember, I'm repeating it once again, this is not a shortcut for you to score 60 plus or for you to pass your exams. Okay, this is just so that you guys understand where should you be focusing more throughout your syllabus. Okay, and remember, you guys will not leave a single chapter before you go to exam. Okay, you should be in a position to attempt all the 100 questions. If I know it is not possible, there will be some questions which you might not be remembering, that's fine. But then if you cover the 100% of the syllabus, you will end up remembering something about those questions, right? So yes, there will be few chapters where you need to focus more, and there will be few where you will comparatively take lesser amount of time. But does that mean they are less important? Absolutely no. They are not less important. It's just that how are you going to prioritize each and every chapter so that you can score 60 plus. Okay, so let's get started. So one good news for you guys is inspection, inquiry and investigation chapter is no longer there for your exams. Okay, it's no longer there for your exams. Okay, so that is one big relief. Now we have one less chapter to study, and that's a big blessing. Okay, so if you don't have to study one chapter, you can revise any other chapter which you feel is important and which you like the most and which you feel you're going to score the most. You can probably revise it twice or thrice. So that's the value of this one single chapter that they have removed, and you should be thanking ICSI for that. Okay, so now let's look at how has been each and every chapter, how have they been asking questions in the past years. If you look at it, they have majorly been asking, of course, share and share capital goes without saying, it's one of the most important chapters. Then you have your accounts and auditors, okay, section 128 to 148. Then you have your general meetings, directors, board composition, okay, and meetings of board and its committees and KMP. So if I have to pick out just some of the chapters that are important for your examination point of view, these are the most important topics, okay, where you need to have at least 3 revisions. At least 3 revisions, if not 3, at least 2 revisions. And these chapters you're not going to leave at any cost. And these are the chapters where you are going to study word by word from the textbook. Because these are the chapters where we are counting the maximum on. So what is going to happen? Think about it. When we are counting on these chapters, there should be no room for error. There should be no room for error. No matter what kind of question they throw at us, we should be able to solve it. Even if the question is tricky. And in the examination hall, we are not able to solve it for some reason. Okay? Or we are not able to recollect the provisions. But we should be in a position to make a sound analysis of the case study and apply the provision to the best extent possible. And that is only possible when we study word by word of these chapters from the study material, and this is a non-negotiable. Okay? And you never know. The institute might ask from every nook and corner, every question, the most unexpected provisions, probably which you thought is not so important from the examination point of view, but they might end up asking. And we shouldn't take chances with respect to these chapters. Okay, with respect to these chapters. Okay, look at this. 10 marks from share and share capital, 12 marks from accounts and auditors. Okay, then 13 marks from general meetings. How much is it? 10 plus 12, 22, then 35, and this is around 8, so around 43, 53, and here you have another 9 marks, let's round it off to 10, 63, and another 8 marks, let's round it off to 9, so around 70 marks. So if you look at the average of it, on an average they have been asking 60 to 70 marks just from these chapters. Okay, and how many are these? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. So 7 chapters, and totally how many chapters are you having? 19 chapters. Out of 19 chapters, 7 chapters are going to carry almost 60 to 70% of marks. So that means to say that we can say that less than 50% of your syllabus will carry more than around 60% of your marks. Your understanding is just these 7 chapters which can carry around 60% of your marks in your examination. Yes, of course. Let's say some questions will go in optionals here, there. So usually your question paper is for 135 marks. Out of the 135 marks, you have to attempt for 100 marks. So now if I am taking this as to be 60 to 70, around 55 to, or let's say 50 to 55. So 50% of your marks is just coming from these 7 chapters. That's the value of these chapters. And I'm being very conservative over here. You might be getting, there is a good chance from these chapters you can expect more than 50 marks. So let's say, for example, they are asking just from these chapters 60 marks. Okay, let's just be optimistic, and they're asking 60 marks and we end up attempting 50 to 55 in this. Now, if you are able to grab 70%, listen to me carefully, 70% of these 50 marks. What am I saying? 70% of 50 marks. How much is it? It is 35 marks. And that's a big number. If you want to score 60 plus, 35 marks is just coming from these 7 chapters. And I'm being conservative by saying score only 70%. Even if you end up scoring 60% of these 50 marks, you will end up scoring 30. So under no circumstances, if your revision is top notch, if you have studied each and everything without leaving any single point, boss, there is no possibility that you can score less than 30 marks from these 7 chapters. If you are, okay, let's say the question paper is difficult. When the question paper is difficult, scoring 60 plus is anyways tricky. Scoring 60 plus is anyways tricky. So even if you end up scoring 20 to 25, and overall in your 100 marks, if you end up scoring 55, that's a great score. 50 to 55 in company law in a difficult paper, that is a brilliant score. That's a very good score. And coming to a normal, moderately difficult paper, the average paper that I'm talking about, so if you end up scoring just 30 to 35 marks, all you need to do is score another 30 to 25 marks. Okay, you just need to score another 25 to 30 marks just to touch 60 marks. That's all. That's all. Okay, and now how are you going to see? One way is you can look at it chapter wise. Okay, you can look at it chapter wise. Now you know which are the chapters that you need to focus most on. And I will say there's this book called Eat That Frog. Basically that means to say that whichever is the most important and the most difficult task, just finish it off first. If I was in your place, I would go with finishing these 7 chapters first. Okay, if you have finished your classes, if you are doing your self study, I would say one round of studies is done. Your first round of studies has to go in the order that is given in the textbook. That is the best possible way. Probably here and there it's fine, but not like you go in your first reading itself, you go in your own order. No, that doesn't work. After your first reading, probably after your classes have been completed, after, if you are a self-study student, if you have completed one round of studies, then when you are studying once again for the first time, make sure that you finish these 7 chapters at the beginning itself, so that when you are doing the rest of the 12 to 13 chapters that are there, when you are doing those chapters, you can revise these chapters. Okay, so for these 7 chapters you have studied, okay, you finished these thoroughly, you have studied, you have taken good amount of 15-20 days, then it's fine. Even if you take around 15 days for these 7 chapters, it's actually a great thing. Once you're done with these 7 chapters, you're left with another 12 to 13 chapters. In these 12 to 13 chapters, when you are studying the remaining 12 chapters, you will be revising the 7 chapters that you completed, the most important ones. So what will happen? You will end up having another revision, and this will help you remember and retain the information that you have studied in these 7 chapters in a better way, so that you can write well in the exam. This is one approach. And the other approach is, this is one approach which you have to do. And the other approach is, your part A carries 60 marks and your part B carries 40 marks, right? Your part B carries 40 marks. Okay, now let's keep it simple. In your part B, if you see, other than CSR and annual report, which most of the topics have gone to annual return, everything else is important. General meetings, directors, KMP, board composition, board meetings, literally everything else is important, right? So in scoring 30 out of these 40 marks, so here the same principle of 75% of this 40 would be 30 marks. The same logic, exactly the same logic. And being a bit conservative, let's say you are scoring 40% to 50% in part A. That is how much? So you are scoring 24 to 30 marks in your part A. How much is it? Even if you are scoring 40% in your part A, 24 plus 30 is 54, and 30 plus 30 is 60. If you have studied part A in a bit better way, let's say you start targeting 60% in part A, okay, that's around 36, 40 marks. That's brilliant. That's brilliant. Now 35 and 35. Okay, so you can easily start crossing 60 to 70. So the game lies only in two things. One, these 7 chapters. Out of these 7 chapters, if you observe, 5 chapters are from your part B. So the answer to your whole clearing your company law and scoring good in company law mostly lies with part B. If you are aiming for a rank, if you are aiming to get a very good score, I think part B should be the answer. Okay. This might work for some people, this might not work for some people. Okay. But from all these years of teaching, one thing I have come to understanding, that any student who does well in company law ends up doing well in company law part B. This I can assume. Okay. Even if not brilliantly well, he has done decently well. It's not like he's scoring 40% in these 40 marks. Okay. So if you strategize it like this, guys, I don't think it should be an issue for you guys to score 60 plus. It should be easy. And this, if you are aiming for a rank, this will help you get a better rank. And scoring company law 60 plus is a prestige in itself, right? You can always tell that you got an exemption in company law whenever you go for your articleship training, CS training interviews, or anywhere you go. It's always a cool thing to brag about, right? So I hope you guys are studying well. I hope you had a good takeaway from this today's video. And if there's any other doubts you have, or if you want any other video with respect to studies or scoring good marks, anything else, please drop a comment down below. I'll be more than happy to take up these videos and come out with you, and so that I can help you guys to clear your exams. So we will see you in the next video. Until then, keep studying well, study hard. It's just one time that you need to you're going to study well. Once your exams are cleared, everything that you want in your life will just be right in front of you. Okay, have patience, work hard, keep your head down, and just keep working hard. Rest all will fall in place. Okay, so all the best, guys. I hope you had a good thing to take away from today's video, and which will help in your exam preparation. And as I said, you can drop a comment down below if you want any other video, or if you want any other assistance. We would be more than happy to help you guys out. Until next time, see you guys. Bye.